Open up! Don't worry, partner! I'll find a way to get you out of there!
Well, well, well. If it isn't my darling nemesis paying my lair another visit, what brings you around today? If I knew you were coming, I would have cleaned the place up better. Now, no need to be so aggressive, dear. This is all a part of the routine, isn't it? Our little song and dance that we do. And we're so good with our routine, aren't we? What do I mean? You come in, I trap you for a little while. You listen to me talk about my newest invention. Escape, defeat me, you know the usual. Sometimes you throw me in jail, and I escape. Sometimes I escape before you can. Pleasantries? No, these are no pleasantries. I'm simply saying it how it is. Don't mistake that for some frivolous small talk. Patience, dear hero, is a virtue, you know. Just sit tight and relax. Or try to, at least. I know it's probably a little hard to relax with those metal restraints on your wrists and ankles. But I know how to get your mind off of that. No, not by letting you go. You're going to lie there on that table until I decide it's time for you to get up. What makes me so sure about that? Well, my dear, I don't know if you've noticed yet, but it appears that I'm the one in control today, not you. Now, I suggest you take my advice and try to get yourself nice and comfortable up there. You'll be there for a while. Oh, don't worry your pretty little head about any of that. Take a couple of nice, deep breaths. That'll help you calm your nerves. Good. Just keep going like that. Focus on your breathing. Now I can get started. With what? Why, with my monologue, of course. Maybe this time I'll even be able to give you a taste of what my victory speech sounds like. I just need all your attention on me. That shouldn't be too hard for you. After all, it's not like you can bring yourself to look at anything else but me right now. Oh, you look confused. You don't know, do you? I don't have to spend my time building all of these inventions, you know. If I could just shift the right person's focus long enough. Well, I could get away with anything I wanted. It's nothing fancy, like generating force shields or pyrokinesis, or anything like that. But it feels good to have power, doesn't it? I know you feel it too. But you aren't the one in power here. Not today, that is. Today, I'm the one with the power. You won't be getting away with this. You really think that, don't you? I suggest you continue to focus on your breathing before I shift your focus to any muscle strain you're feeling at the moment. Yes, like that. You're feeling it now, aren't you? Now that I've made it all you can focus on. You're struggling to wrap your head around what's going on, aren't you? That's okay. I don't mind telling you. After all, it won't matter very soon whether you know it or not. Like I said, this is power. My power, to be exact. Oh, you look absolutely adorable when you're confused. I bet you thought I didn't have any powers of my own, that I was overcompensating by inventing instead. But that really isn't the case. I'm going to give you a little bit of mercy. Why don't you do me a favor and shift your focus to the sound of the fish tank in the corner? You want to know how I'm doing that? It's very simple. In the same way that some people can read minds or control someone's body, I can control a person's thoughts. To a certain extent. Anyway, it's sort of like a compulsion. I say the word, and your mind can only concentrate on the idea I suggest. And right now, that's your breathing and the sounds of the fish tank. It sounds like you're having difficulty speaking. That's all right. You don't need to speak. Just listening is enough. But to answer your question, yes, I can have you focus on more than one thing. I've been playing around with what my power can do for the past few weeks. Call it something of a hobby. And I must say, I found it very interesting use for it. I've never tested my ability on a human before. And who better to be my first than you, dear hero? You look like you're forcing yourself to keep your eyes open. If it's that difficult, it's best to just close those pretty eyes of yours. Almost as if you're just lying down to take a nap. You don't need to worry about anything outside of this room. It's just you, me, and the fish in the tank. Just like how it used to be. You know, before you went and got yourself a sidekick. And tell me, just where is that sidekick of yours now? Nowhere that I can see. She must have run off. But you didn't need her anyway. You never needed help. It was the guild that forced you to take on a sidekick, wasn't it? Don't you hate all their unnecessary rules? The guild can't even focus on what really matters, can they? Not like you. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. Even now, you know that all you need to do is to focus on your breathing and the sounds of the fish tank. You don't even really need to pay attention to anything I'm saying. Maybe you figured that out on your own a while ago, and you haven't been paying attention. That's fine. All it means is that you're nice and relaxed. And I know that deep down, you've always been able to relax in my presence. I've seen it in your eyes many times before. The way they soften as soon as I start a monologue. Sometimes, it almost seems like you don't want to escape my traps. But I think I've gone long enough about work. I think I'd like to focus on the fish tank myself. You know what the trickling and bubbling of a fish tank remind me of? They remind me of the thoughts in a person's head. The way they bubble up to the surface with such intensity, but just as quickly, many of them trickle out of the mind. You can't tell me you've never experienced it. I think we all have at some point. Sometimes it can be distressing, can't it? But when you're nice and calm like this, doesn't it feel good? It almost feels like you could plunge down into that abyss, doesn't it? Just plunging down and down and down, deeper into the waters of your own mind. Just letting the current pull you into itself and plunge you even more into those depths. And as you plunge down into the abyss, you find it more and more difficult to focus on anything. But the warm and pleasant sensation the serenity gives you as your consciousness ebbs into the depths of your own mind. Doesn't that feel good? I thought so. And the more you focus on those pleasant sensations, the more you just want to plunge right into them, don't you? It's okay. You can. In fact, you should. Just embrace the pleasant feelings of that abyss for a moment. The guild can't take those feelings away from you here. And they've never made you feel this good, have they? Even though you're one of the best heroes in the city. But you know who does make you feel this good, don't you? Who's the one making you feel this good? Oh, is that so? Well, if I'm the one making you feel this good, then I believe you should be willing to address me properly when you speak to me. From now on, whenever you want to speak to me, you're going to address me with my darling, as in, yes, my darling, you're a genius, my darling, and so on and so forth. Do you understand? I didn't quite hear you. You're going to have to speak up. Do you understand? Good. And now that you've plunged down into that abyss in your mind, and your thoughts have bubbled and trickled out in tandem with the bubbles in a fish tank, I've got a proposal for you. Would you like to hear it? Excellent. You love feeling nice and calm, free of worries, just like you feel right now, don't you? And who makes you feel those warm and pleasant feelings that blanket you in the abyss of your mind? Would you like to feel those feelings all the time, dear hero? Well, I'm afraid there's only one way for you to feel those feelings as much as you want. Dear hero, in exchange for allowing you to feel these feelings and this freedom as much as you please, would you be willing to leave the guild and all their useless rules, and instead stand at my side? We'll have to destroy the foundation on which this city was built, but we can rebuild it as we desire. You could rebuild the guild itself anew if you desire, with your own set of rules. How does all that sound? Would you like that? I thought you would. So then, would you like to become my partner? You can become my partner in every sense of the word, even if you wish, dear hero. You're so good to me. I almost hate to pull you from those depths, but we won't be able to get much work done with your eyes closed like that. It would make what I've done to you obvious. And we don't want anyone getting ideas, do we? So, here's what I'm going to do for you. You're going to have to focus on what I say next. Focus on my words and allow them to plunge into the depths of what that abyss to you. Hold them there and bring them up to the surface when you return. All right? You're already being such a good partner for me, listening to everything I say. You came here today because you just had to speak to me. You've grown tired of the way the guild has been handling the villains in the city lately. Since our last encounter, you've been thinking a lot about reform and rebirth. Isn't that right? Yes, that's right. You came seeking my help in destroying the guild once and for all. They never saw your true value the way I did they? Under someone like you, a new guild could be created, one that would handle crime and punishment properly. You proposed this alliance to me, and I accepted your offer. Isn't that how it went? Who proposed our alliance, dear hero? That's right, you did. Oh, and dear hero, one last thing. I'm terribly sorry that my trap sprung up on you today. The darn thing has been rather faulty as of late. You aren't upset with me, are you? That's a relief. Now, I'm going to ask you to begin swimming up from that abyss for me. I know you want to stay, but don't worry. If you ever want to return, I can plunge you back down and down. But for now, I need you to begin swimming up to me. Do you see that faint light shining down on that abyss from above? It's all right if you can't see the light. Trust me, it's there, right above you. That's where you need to go. It shouldn't take you very long to get there. Just focus on my words and you'll be out soon. 10. Just barely beginning to register the sensation of light. 9. Gripping tightly to those words you're pulling up with you. 8. Beginning to swim up faster and faster. 7. The source of the light grows wider. 6. And it grows wider. 5. You're halfway to the light now. 4. Beginning to feel the warmth of the light. 3. Feeling the warmth engulf your body. 2. So close to the surface of the water now. 1. You break the water surface. Eyes open, dear hero. I didn't know anyone could get so comfortable on that thing that they'd fall asleep. Yes, you fell asleep. You must not have realized. I'm sorry that trap sprang up at you like that. But I suppose that's what I get for recreating something from an old Bond movie, isn't it? Let me just... There we go. Look at you, always landing on your feet. I'm glad to have a partner like you. We're going to do such good things together, aren't we, dear hero? I'm so glad we finally begun to see eye to eye.